I have been watching some stuff. Okay, first things first. I watched a part of the first episode, and not because it's not great. I only did this. I'll get to the show, but I only did this because my girlfriend, she walked in right when I was watching it, and I told her how good this show looked to me, and she was like, "Oh, well, then turn it off and watch it together when we have a chance." And I was like, "Okay." But the Hulu show Shogun.
Okay, yeah, I've watched it as well.
Okay, so I've only watched part of the first episode, but it looks really good to me, and I'm intrigued by what goes on in that show. What did you experience with it?
Yeah, I think it was pretty good. Definitely worth a watch. I will say I've like because I've listened to other podcasts people talk about it, and they're like putting it on like their really high like best of the year list. And I'm
Heard.
I'm like I think it's very good, very strong, but I don't know if I like it quite as much as like some people. But yeah, it's a strong show. I think definitely worth a watch. Let's see. You've been watching anything else on the movie or TV front?
Gosh, I'm sure I have. I'm still watching Ghost.
Oh,
Still,
right.
still going strong. Like it's just a fun, quirky show that I watch like in bed, going to sleep. Um, Watching X Files. Uh, it's just nostalgic, and it still holds up. It holds up. Like I know we talked about like the special effects and stuff like that. They don't hold up, but like the writing and like the rest of it, like it's just fun. Like it's a fun sci-fi show.
You know what
Um.
my show like that is right now? I've been rewatching The King of Queens, and
Okay.
like I haven't watched it in a long time. It's surprising like how many episodes I remember, given that I haven't watched it in a long time.
Oh yeah.
But man, that show it holds up too. It's a fun, breezy show. I'm really enjoying like rewatching it.
Okay. What else did I watch? That X Files. Oh, I watched that movie Smile,
Hmm.
the horror movie.
Right. I remember seeing the trailer for that. Like I went to the theater and watched something, and I remember that playing. So how was that?
Not very scary. I watched it alone in bed at night, and I was just like, this isn't scary at all. I don't know. Yeah. It was a fun movie though. It was fun. Like it was a good movie, because like the storyline was kind of, it wasn't like it wasn't like I hate scary movies. So I watched It Follows again recently, and like there's so many stupid things that girl, and I didn't pick up on it when I watched it the first time, but she does every trope in a horror movie that you can do. She runs upstairs. She does like all the stupidest things, all the dumb things. And I like the second I watched it, I was just like, I was so frustrated with her. I was like, she deserves to die. Like, I hope she. Like, have you seen that movie?
No.
Oh, okay. I don't want to spoil it for you, but there's if you ever do that, like, there's things that should be communicated in that movie. Like, once you do that thing that causes
Well,
uh
I know the premise is basically it's like a kind of like an STD thing. Like
yeah,
somebody has sex and then like this thing starts slowly following them.
yeah.
And yeah,
Okay, so this girl is so dumb. Like in the first scene, this guy tells her what the deal is. Look, I had sex with you. This is what's going to happen. That's why he gets to live, because he told her what's going to happen. Now she's going to live. As long as she's alive, the thing has to go after her first and then him if she kills her or it kills her. But she sleeps, she sleeps with she sleeps with one guy who does know the situation. He doesn't believe it though. She sleeps, then she finds some random dudes on a boat, hooks up with them, presumably. Like, they don't show anything, but like you think, like, okay, she goes and hooks up with three dudes on a boat. The thing is following her immediately. That means that she didn't tell them. She just hooked up with them and was like, they'll die in the next 24 hours. Like, she didn't even try to, like, set up, like, hey, you got to survive so I can live. Like, now you have to live, right? Like, that's the smart play. But, like, literally right after she sleeps with them, it starts chasing her down. I'm like, what the? Did you just like sign these guys death warrants without like even trying to be tactical in any way? Like, it's just, oh my god, there's so many dumb things that happen in this movie, man. It's so frustrating.
it's like that thing of not wanting to tell somebody you gave them an STD.
I guess so, yeah. But I mean, the thing is, like, the STD won't kill you unless it kills them first. So
Yeah, that's true.
you should tell them. So yeah, I watched that. Oh, I watched more of the Orville. Well, there's only 2 seasons. I think I've watched them all, but I went back and watched
Um,
them. Mhm.
there's 3 seasons.
Oh, I only saw two on Hulu, I think, or maybe Paramount Plus. I'm not sure which one it was.
I think Hulu. I watched it on Hulu. I think it might also be on Disney Plus now since they kind of share programming. But
Oh,
there are 3 seasons. I don't know if maybe they moved one off of Hulu or not, but
it's
yeah,
probably
that's
on
a
Disney
great
Plus.
show.
Yeah. I'm planning on watching the third season then for sure. I do want to see that. So I mean, is that it? Just 3 seasons, or are you like gonna make more? Or?
They have not announced another one. Like I follow Seth MacFarlane on Twitter, and like for a while he was like, fingers crossed and all this stuff, but then he never said anything else. So I'm thinking it's probably done, but who knows? Maybe it'll be one of those things where they can squeeze out a movie or something eventually. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
But
Community
it's
is
a fun
better.
show. I really
Mhm.
like that show.
Yeah. Um, I don't know if I. Yeah, I think that might be it from what I've watched. There might be more, but it'll come back to me. Let's talk about what you watched, man.
So I rewatched. I hadn't seen it in a long time, but have you ever seen the movie District 9?
I have, yeah.
Um, and it's really good. I thought the premise is like these aliens come down. Basically, their mothership like is broken, and they it's over like Johannesburg, South Africa. So they end up, it's basically like you know, an analogy for apartheid, and they basically put them in this all the aliens in this camp, and then like they're trying to relocate him, and like the main guy gets like sprayed, and he starts turning into one of them,
Yeah.
basically. But it's all very like cynical but realistic in a way where like the government like is just like brutal, and like they're trying to use him to use the alien weaponry basically, and like do like really bad stuff. And it's like it's cynical, but at the same time you're like, this is exactly what would happen. Like I think they nailed it as far as like if this was a real situation, this is exactly what the government would do. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah. Um, I want to look this up real quick because I know there's some controversy about one of the actors from District 9. Um, he said something that was really controversial.
Well, Charlton Copley's like the main guy. I have no idea who like most of the other actors are. They're to me like unknowns. But um
Charlton, yeah, that's right. Charlton.
actually, speaking of him, I don't think I've seen him act in anything. Like I think he still does act. I think it's just by chance I haven't really caught him in anything recently. But yeah, I was just rewatching this movie and I'm like, this is like a good, like solid sci-fi flick. And I know at one time, like they they were considering making like a sequel, like District 10 or whatever,
Yeah.
and they never did. A part of me after seeing this movie, I was like, you know what? I think there's like room there to make a sequel to this that could be to be good, but it stands alone on itself. It's I thought very well done, and actually like some of the visual effects I thought were pretty good too.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it wasn't too long ago, but it probably was like 12 years ago now, huh?
Yeah, I think it was like 2009, something like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow. Okay. You know what? I'm looking it up. I don't think he said anything too controversial. Yeah, I think he's fine. Okay.
not canceled yet. Huh?
Yeah, not canceled.
I finished season 3 of Resident Alien. Still a very
Oh,
fun show.
yeah.
That's another show where I'm like,
You said season 3?
yeah, season 3.
Oh, man. Okay.
It's another show where I'm like, I'm fingers crossed they don't cancel it because it left off on a cliffhanger.
Okay.
A part of me is like, TV shows need to be careful these days not to end on cliffhangers necessarily, because like unless you know for sure you're getting another season, and like it's always dubious these days. Um, but that's a fun show.
Oh, I do gotta tell you, I got a little buzzed right one night, and when I get buzzed, I just have to go back and watch my comfort shows and movies. And I had to sign up for Disney Plus and watch some Marvel content.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
I went back to it. It's always fun to watch the old movies, like Endgame, and that was old, right? Like it's been a while since they've come out.
Yeah,
Uh,
it has been now. Yeah.
yeah. Um, I did see that they have X-Men '97. I haven't broke it open yet and watched it, but I've been seeing that people are reviewing them, so it might be something to watch.
I do want to watch that. I figure like next time I have a good excuse to get Disney Plus, I'll definitely I'll watch X Men '97 because yeah, same. I've heard nothing but good things about it, so
Yeah.
I'm curious. I think I don't know when it comes out. I think this summer maybe, but there's going to be another Star Wars show, so maybe we'll review that, and that'll give me an excuse to get back into on Disney. I just the other day started watching Fallout based on the video game.
Okay.
It's on Amazon because I heard basically a lot of people saying like it's really good, and I've only seen the first two episodes so far, but I gotta say it's very good. Like I'm excited to watch more. Uh, I've never played any of the Fallout games though. Have you?
I did, yeah. Fallout 3. It's such a big world, such a long game that I don't think
That's what I've
I
heard.
finished it, yeah. But it's fun. Like there's a lot to figure out, there's a lot of like puzzles in a way. Like but it's fun. I liked it. I just it was overwhelming. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too. Is that they're very long games, and also like I'm not the biggest fan of like first person perspective games, so I'm like I'm probably not going to play these. But so far the show is very good. So like I'm excited to finish it. You mentioned Shogun earlier. I during between the last time we talked and now, I finished it. I think it was 10 episodes long.
Mhm.
I did like it. I will say I was surprised it wasn't as action packed as I thought like it might be going into it. It definitely is more about
Politics.
yeah, politics and maneuvering, and there is some action in it, but I would say it's much more about like political maneuvering and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a solid show. I enjoyed it,
Mhm.
and then still watching Star Trek Discovery, which is it's fine. They're still hopping around finding pieces of this mysterious map or whatever, So
Mhm.
we'll see how that goes, but it's fine.
I watched oh, okay. So I watched Three Body Paradox, not all of it, but parts of it.
Okay.
Um I don't know how much is based on the books. Uh, I never read the books, but I did have some. Like, I watched a video where somebody explained the books and like what the theme was and how it like the story was. And then I watched the show and I was like, maybe there's a lot of details that get lost in the explanation. But I don't know. It does not exactly line up with what I was told about the books, so I'm not sure how in line they are. And I huh? Is it?
This is some of the reviews I heard. Like somebody said, like it starts off very slow, and it
Mhm.
took them probably like 3 or 4 episodes before they could get like really into it and start understanding like how it
Yeah,
was like structured.
yeah. So like we probably got to like episode 4 or 5, and I think we just didn't really feel the show. Like it was just yeah. The books sound really good, like with the way they're talked about and stuff. The way it was broken down, but the show itself, just I don't know. It wasn't the pacing maybe was a problem for me, but yeah, not a big fan.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's one of those things where like sometimes if you don't start with something early enough that hooks the people, like sometimes it is hard to get into a show.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it is just a little too slowly paced. I kind of think of. Have you ever watched that show, The Americans?
No, but that's about Russian people who like are pretending to be American or
Yeah. It's basically the Russian government like planted Russian spies in America, and they had family. And it's a good show. It's a very solid show, but I will say it is very deliberately paced. Like it's very like slow paced sometimes. Like sometimes there'll be several episodes where like it's mostly dialogue and not a lot of action. but it will be building to something. Eventually, you'll get to an episode where stuff does go down, and you'll be like, oh, okay, like it'll be a little more exciting of an episode. But like, um, I could see people trying that show and being like, this is boring and just stopping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's paced that way, but it is a good show.